Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Danica and I'm a part-time reseller. I've been selling mostly on the Poshmark app, Poshmark Canada and Poshmark US, but for the last couple weeks I have been selling on the app WhatNot, and I want to tell you how I'm feeling about it. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Okay, so first off, we're not going to talk about my hair. I got called at 9:30. No, that's not right. That was a lie. I got called at 8:30 last night to go to work. And to give you an idea of what my day was yesterday, it was 8:30 p.m. when they called and I was still in my PJs. I still had not washed my face. So that's how my day went yesterday. And then today I was working, I was flying, and I came home and my friend texted me and was like, "You're working tomorrow?" I was like, "Am I?" She's like, "You're not on the list for tomorrow, so they must have assigned you something." And I'm leaving for 3 days tomorrow afternoon. So I've been like rushing around trying to get myself prepared to work tomorrow. But I also wanted to film this video about how I'm feeling about WhatNot now. So if you don't know what WhatNot is, it is a selling platform, an app-based platform. I mean, you can use it on your computer too, but anyway, and it's a live auction style selling platform. So basically, in a nutshell, what you do is you apply to become a seller. If you are selected to become a seller, you do an onboarding process. I just remembered doing this, that I freaking broke a nail today and I have to fix that tonight too. I'm running out of time. Anyway, okay, so you apply to be a seller. Hopefully you get approved to be a seller. From there, you do an onboarding with WhatNot, where it's like a Zoom meeting and they go over what it is. There's like a little quiz at the end. Easy. As soon as you do your onboarding, you're approved to sell on WhatNot and you can schedule live shows. So I have now done 2 shows. My first show I did a recap, so I will link the recap up here. Basically, my first show was all Lululemon, Anthropologie, and Aritzia. I sold, I don't even remember how many items I sold, like 40 something items. It was great. And I was using USPS shipping for that sale. My last sale I did was on Friday. It's Sunday right now. And I listed more things in my store. I think I had like 60 something items and I sold 32. So I did sell less items during my second sale. My first sale was on a Sunday night. My second sale was a Friday afternoon, evening. And my second sale I was using Canada Post. So here's where I'm at with WhatNot. I've made almost the equivalent on that app now with those 2 sales as I have on Poshmark Canada all month. And it's less work. Loading the store, it takes a little bit of time getting used to it, but once you know how to do it and how it works, it goes pretty quickly and efficiently. Shipping, same thing. The first time was so clumsy for me. The second time, honestly, was still very clumsy for me. I'm still waiting on labels for 2 of my packages. So let's rewind. My theme for the last sale, what contributed to my first sale being the success it was obviously I had a crap ton of Lululemon. I had like 15 Lululemon items in that sale and they all sold, obviously, and they all sold to like the same person. So I was lucky that that person was at my show and was looking to buy Lululemon. The second show I did was not curated by brand. It was curated by vibe. I did like cozy fall vibes, and also I did not source for that show. I went through what I already had in my death pile that I had not listed and pulled things and was like, yeah, this will work, this will work, this will work. I also, whatever didn't sell from my first sale, I put into that one, and I pulled like maybe 5 things from my active Poshmark closet and put into that show. A few of them sold, some of them didn't. So I think that makes a difference too. Also, I started everything at $2. So on WhatNot, you dictate what the starting bid is on your items. My first show, I did $2 for Aritzia and Anthropologie, $3 starts on Lululemon. This show, I did $2 starts on everything, and I had some Lululemon in there. I had like some really good stuff. Obviously, some things went for higher, but a decent amount of things sold for like $5 and less, which is fine because my cost of goods is $1 on everything. So starting at $2, even if it's sold at $2, it was $2 US, so let's say it's like $2.50 Canadian, $2.70 Canadian maybe. So with my fees on the platform, I was still obviously covering my cost of goods, and I was like moving stuff. You know, that was kind of my goal with this, was to like get a decent amount of items out of my house because I had a crazy death pile. Okay, it number wise it wasn't that bad, but it was so poorly organized in my spare room. It was taking over, it was spilling over all over the place. Yesterday I dragged everything out of that spare room into my living room and went through and was like, I need to make some decisions here. So I ended up listing 3 mystery boxes, 2 of them sold already. I'm getting way off track, but this just kind of gives you an idea of the inventory that I had for that second sale. Was just stuff I pulled together. Now, am I happy with the results of the sale? Yes. Is it as lucrative? Am I having as lucrative shows as other sellers on the platform? No, but I don't have to be the very top seller. Something about me is I'm happy kind of staying in the middle, kind of not attracting any attention to myself, just flying under the radar. You know, if I can make an extra $500, $700 on that platform a month, doing 1 show a week, perfect. I'm happy with that. I don't need to have like crazy blockbuster shows where I'm like, of course that would be great, and I'm proud of sellers who do that and I look up to them, but if you think that you're gonna get on the platform and like sell out show after show after show as soon as you get on there, that's not gonna happen. I was kind of feeling the opposite. I was like, I probably won't sell anything. But I set my expectations low and my expectations were exceeded. So I think comparing the first show and the second show, the first show I had, I think, about 40 people in there, start to finish. I had a good amount of bookmarks on the show, and like I said, I had some very desirable brands and very desirable prices. My second show, I really loved everything that was in that show, but the fact of the matter is they are more niche items, some vintage items, some items that the style is, I have the vision for it up here, but not everyone is gonna have the vision for it. And so if you only have like 25 people in the show, the person that's gonna appreciate that item isn't there. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think the trick for WhatNot is to just have like either a very specific curated vision and vibe where the theme of the show people will be like, oh, that's something that interests me, right? A great example is EK Thrifts on Instagram. I mentioned her, I think, in my other WhatNot videos, but her shows are like very detailed and curated. So if you go to her show, you know what to expect from that show based on the theme that she's picked. Does that make sense? My theme, I've already scheduled this show for Friday, and I just put like cozy vibes, which now thinking about it, I should be more specific. I mean, in my thumbnail, I wrote like sitting in bed drinking tea. So I think you can like reading a book. I think you can envision it, but that's definitely something to keep in mind if you want to be successful on WhatNot, is you either need to have a whole show of like really amazing brands, or if you can't source really amazing brands at a good price, then you need to grow your community and grow a community that will understand what your vision is. So I think I'm privileged in the fact that I can kind of do both. When I go to the bins, I am able to source some pretty decent inventory cheap. And I can also go to the bins with the idea of finding things that I just really like and that fit the vision that I have for a show. So I think I'm going to commit to 2 more shows and kind of take it from there. So I have a show on Friday, and I'm gonna go sourcing on Thursday at the bins, and I'm hoping to pick up 100 items. I'm hoping to pick up 50 items per show. And I mean, I guess that's me kind of assuming that I'm gonna sell everything, and realistically I won't, but it's also all things that I'm happy to also list on Poshmark and make more money on Poshmark. The thing is, it's way more work to list on Poshmark than it is to list on WhatNot. So when you're looking at the pros and cons of both platforms, okay, so let's talk about the sourcing aspect. Let's go from beginning to end. Sourcing for Poshmark and WhatNot for me right now are pretty similar. I'm sourcing things for WhatNot that I would be happy to sell on Poshmark. I don't think everything that sells on Poshmark would sell on WhatNot, but there is some overlap. Listing on Poshmark does take me longer. On Poshmark, I'm expected to have more photos, more detailed title, more detailed description. You're putting in different categories, descriptions, price, all that stuff, and then inventorying it. Okay, so for me, that looks like putting it in a numbered bag and keeping track of that number, adding that number to my listing, putting that away, and then eventually pulling it when it sells. Now, here's where the road was like this and then it goes like that. Okay, so the selling process for Poshmark, you're listing your item and then you're sharing it until it sells. You are hopefully not sitting on items, and hopefully they're selling quickly, but sometimes you are sharing and sharing and sharing. For some people, that means using automation, and that costs money. Okay, on WhatNot, and that means also sending offers, communicating to buyers, creating bundles, messaging bundles, dropping prices for closet clear out. Like, Poshmark is built in a way that keeps you on the platform. They want you on the app all the time. WhatNot does that in different ways, because you're going on the app to support other sellers, to maybe bid on other items, and you're doing your shows. Now, selling on WhatNot is so different because I am quickly listing 50, 60 items. I'm taking 1-2 pictures, using stock images. You can do a stock image only. Doing a very quick title, a very quick description, the starting bid, what the item is, and measurements if there's no size tag. There's no putting in the size, putting in the color, putting in the brand, putting in this, putting in that to make it findable. Okay, I'm putting all that information in my title and my description, and then list, and you're good to go. I'm doing 50 to 60 items in a show. I do have the numbered hangers. I made the numbers myself, and so that is so quick. Selling, my shows have been, I think, like an hour and a half and 2 hours long. Okay, so when you compare that to Poshmark, in an hour and a half, 2 hours, if I'm thinking of like the whole process, I'm listing like not that many items. The way my brain works, sometimes I can sit down and like power list, but not very often. So WhatNot works better for me in the fact that I'm like, okay, here's this item, you know, start the bid, you talk about the item for 20 seconds, let people bid on it. If it sells, I put it down on this side. If it doesn't sell, I like hang it back up. So easy. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's like any more differences when it comes to selling, but they're just so different. The seller and the buyer experience is so different. Now, the buyer experience on Poshmark, I did order something from Tabs on her first show, a pair of TNA shorts and some Lululemon pants. Go figure. So I kind of wanted to see what that looked like from a buyer's perspective. Now, shipping on Poshmark and WhatNot also makes there's a huge difference between Poshmark and WhatNot when it comes to shipping. Poshmark, and I'm speaking from a seller perspective, on Poshmark, you get the shipping label, you put it on a box or on a mailer, and you send it out. WhatNot, the way WhatNot works, when you're listing, you need to put the weight of the item in your listing, which is fine. Kind of annoying, kind of a hybrid between Poshmark and eBay, but whatever, you do it and it's fine. When you're doing your shipping, you need to go order by order, edit your details, the weight of the item, of the parcel, the dimensions of the parcel, and request a label. Even though they've generated labels for you, you need to edit everything and then regenerate the label, from what I understand. I've only done 2 shows, I've only done shipping twice, but this is the way I'm understanding it works. It's a pain. It is a pain in the butt, honestly. There's ways to like split shipments up, but I tried doing it so that I had a bundle of 6 be 3 and 3, and it split it into 3, 1, 1, 1. So then I was like, okay, the next time I'll just split 1 on its own, but then actually put 3 things in that package. Whatever, it makes no sense. Also, I have 2 packages down here that I'm waiting to get labels for. I went to generate her labels and they just wouldn't. And so I emailed support and they're like, here's a label, and it was a USPS label. I was like, I need 2 Canada Post labels, please. So from that perspective, kind of annoying, but also worth noting in terms of support, WhatNot support is way faster to get back to me than Poshmark support is, even though I'm ambassador to and apparently get faster support times. So yeah, those are my general thoughts on WhatNot versus Poshmark for now. I know a lot. The reason I'm doing these videos is because I know a lot of people are in the same boat as me, whereas they were like kind of seeing that this was a new platform and they're like, should I sign up? I don't know, because some like kind of weird sketchy people are on there, so maybe I want to stay away, but I don't know. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. Let me just see how it goes. I will sign up to be a seller, and the worst that happens is what? I have a show, nothing sells. I say, okay, that's not for me, and I list everything on Poshmark. Whatever. you know? So like when I say I was the biggest WhatNot skeptic, I posted Instagram stories being like, if I hear about WhatNot one more time, and now I'm that person that's like, I have a show this Friday, make sure you bookmark my show, blah, 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 blah. Do I like being that person? No. But that's kind of something you have to do to be on WhatNot. Like your show's success depends on your marketing your show. So the other thing that makes WhatNot very interesting or attractive is their commission rate is 11% versus Poshmark's 20%. The prices are in US dollars, so your conversion rate, if you're Canadian and you're thinking about selling on WhatNot, let me know. I can refer you. And they are looking for Canadians. I was approved overnight. I know US people that are waiting weeks to be approved to do their onboarding. So if you are Canadian and you're thinking about it, at least do the onboarding and then you can decide if this is something for you. You can keep watching on Instagram and YouTube and kind of see how other sellers are doing. I didn't know if it was going to be for me, honestly, but I think it's fun. I enjoy it. You have to be okay being in front of the camera, obviously, because you are front and center. You are selling your items live. And so you need to be able to have fun. You need to be able to, if something doesn't sell, you're not going to be like, what? No one wanted this? Like, you need to just like, boom, move on to the next item. And I remind people, I'm like, if you're just joining into my show and there's something in the store that you see that I've already run and you want me to rerun it, let me know. I'm happy to do that. I had that my last show, I reran 2 items by request and they sold. So, you know, these are like things that you learn as you do it. It is not the most user-friendly interface. I will say Poshmark is a lot easier. It's a more seamless process from beginning to end, but they take more commission. WhatNot is, it's clumsy. It's hard to find what you're looking for sometimes. It's hard to, I like to think I'm pretty good at like figuring things out. And I was like, is this right? Am I doing this right? Like even starting your stream and then having a second device and starting it there so that you can like be on the video of one screen and start your auctions on a different screen. So yeah, I'm not sold. I'm not at a point where I'm like, okay, see a Poshmark, I'm only doing WhatNot. I'm not at a point where I'm saying, okay, I've had enough, I'm not doing it again. Because my investment in these shows is money-wise, like 30 to 50 bucks. And time-wise, maybe like an hour to list and like an hour and a half to ship, plus an hour and a half to do the show. And I'm making like, you know, it's worth my time is what I'm saying. So that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. If you have any questions about WhatNot, make sure you drop them in the comments. Maybe I'll actually put a little question box on my Instagram and see if anyone is like feeling any kind of way or has any questions about WhatNot, because I think we're seeing a lot about it, but like I said, I was the biggest skeptic and I was not sure about it. I was like looking at who was on the app and I was like, I don't know about this, but I decided to give it a shot and I'm happy I did. For now. If I can get labels for these boxes, I'll be happy I did. But yeah, I think it also depends on if you can source a significant amount of inventory. That's a big part of it, because no one's going to come to a show that has like 15 items, you know? you need to be able to source a good amount of things. There are also people doing live thrifts with me's, and they're just adding the items as they go. They're showing the item, if anyone wants this, let me know and I'll run it. And then they're like literally leaving the thrift store having already made money on the items they're buying. Like, that's so smart to me. Anyway, I think that's all I had to say about WhatNot for today. Let me know if you hung in here this whole time. Congrats to you. I appreciate you. I am working on my YouTube channel. I am like learning more about editing and having a lot of fun doing it. I don't know if you've like noticed any changes in my videos or anything like that, but if you're sticking in there with me, I so appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Growing a YouTube community is so fun. I'm loving it. So anyway, before you go, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe before you leave. Give me a thumbs up, and yeah, leave me a comment if you've been thinking about selling on WhatNot. Oh, also WhatNot has cross-border shipping and Poshmark doesn't, so no need to have a US WhatNot and a Canadian WhatNot. You can ship on both sides from either way. I'm just like going back and forth using a US address, Canadian address to see if there's really any difference, but I didn't notice any difference between people wanting to pay for shipping if I was in Canada from a US seller or in the US from a Canadian seller. Shipping is like $11.50 or $10.50 for the first item, and then it goes by weight, like $1.50, $4.50, like, so it's not bad. The shipping is really not bad. If you bundle, it obviously makes it worth it. But anyway, okay, let me know if you have any questions and I'm happy to answer them, and I will see you next time. Bye.